at 12 o'clock.
Oh.
And we have a quorum. I think some folks might still be coming in, but that's okay. So we will call this meeting to order. Ms. Jacobs, will you take the roll?
Mr. Barnwell.
Here.
Mr. Brennan. Mr. Burgess. Ms. Lee. Ms. Herbert. Representative Howard. Dr. Morris. Mr. Smith. Mrs. Rayfield.
Here.
Mr. Unbank.
Here.
Mr. Walker. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. That brings us to the adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, changes to the agenda? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll call the roll to adopt the agenda.
Mr. Barnwell.
Yeah.
Mr. Brennan.
Yes.
Mr. Burgess.
Yes.
Ms. Leetman. Ms. Herbert. Yes. Representative Howard. Dr. Morris. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Rayfield.
Yes.
Mr. Unbank.
Yes.
Walker. Motion carries.
Thank you. That brings us to item 3, our consent calendar. 3A is approval of the September 26, 2024 board minutes. That's on pages 3 through 5 of the packet. And 3B is the submission of the invoice check registers on pages 6 through 27. Is there a motion regarding the consent calendar? Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, we'll call the roll for the consent calendar.
Mr. Barnwell.
Yes.
Mr. Brennan.
Yes.
Mr. Burgess.
Yes.
Ms. Leetman. Ms. Herbert.
Yes.
Representative Howard. Dr. Morris. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Rayfield.
Yes.
Mr. Unbank.
Yes.
Mr. Walker. Motion carries.
Thank you. That brings us to item 4, our Midlands Transit Riders Association update. Mr. Durst.
Good afternoon to this beautiful day that we're having. Sure, it's going to get cold again, so what are you going to do? Oh, we have a microphone now.
We got a fancy setup now for you.
Okay. Last Monday, I took the bus, the 501 bus out to Columbia Mall. Haven't been out there for a long time, despite the fact that I used to work out there for 25 glorious years. But I also wanted to check the shelter that Mr. Furzis had brought up last month regarding the need for it to be repaired on the corner of Two Notch and Wendover. And as far as I can tell, the shelter is looking pretty good. I was also impressed with the connection point that they have out at Columbia Mall with Route 55, which goes out to Sandhills. And I was very impressed about how easy that connection is. So good job there. Also, I want to thank the Comet for the upcoming Free Fair Day, which will be on November 5th for Election Day. And I know everybody in this room is voting, but I just please tell your friends that, and this is something that the board can't do legally and the Comet can't do legally, but I can do legally. And that is tell your friends, please vote for the penny. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Durst. That brings us to item 5, the call to the public. Mr. Clements.
Thank you very much. My name is Tom Clements, and I live just up the road in Earlwood here, the adjacent community to this facility. As you know, if you attended the last meeting or read the minutes, I made a comment about the bus transfer station, and I appreciate the notation in the minutes that I did make comment last time. And in future meetings, I may have something written to submit once again, but I look forward to the presentation today by Mr. Pearl. And over the past 2 years, I have been informing the Facebook page of the Earlwood Citizens Community Organization. I will do so after this meeting today. There are quite a number of people up there who are concerned about what's going on with that project and what the outcome is going to be. Who knows? And I look forward to hearing possibly what's happening, but I think somebody should step up and take ownership of this. I can kind of imagine that if there had been more coverage of this, it could damage the penny tax vote, because it's not good what has happened here, as you well know. I look forward to the discussion, and I will let my friends and neighbors know. And there's one state senator and one city council member at least on that list, and they've commented about this situation before. They just live a couple of blocks from me. So I want to make sure that we get a discussion going again, as we have many times in the past. I wish you could go on there. You could see a record of all the photos of what's happened. Unfortunately, it's a closed group, but thank you very much.
Thank you. That will bring us to number 6, our discussion and action items. 6A is our service update for Mr. Cooksey.
Hi. Ms. Pamela Miller is an outstanding bus operator. She does a fine job, and she actually is one of the ones that you can guarantee that she'll find for work and do her job very safe. She's been a bus operator for 15 years. She states that she enjoys spending time with her 3 children, her 4 grandchildren, and her 2 great-grandchildren. She has outstanding people skills, and she said that she gives all the glory to God. So we're thankful for employees like that. We're very thankful we have the opportunity to recognize employees like that. So as we say in the Navy, Bravo Zulu, to Ms. Miller. All right, so I want to talk about our on-time performance for the month of October. Of course, it was at 66.54%. We did incur another slight decrease from the previous month, about 1.75%. I just want to bring out some of the causes that contribute that drop to. We had the special events that we have at the USC, of course, always affect on-time performance, football games, anything that they have going on. Events that are hosted by the city of Columbia, that also affects on performance, but we have to get around the events. We did incur some impacts from Hurricane Helene in the month of this previous month that's going to affect us. We got the major road construction project that's going on throughout the city. And also one other thing I'd like to bring up to the board is that the changes that we have made at College Central and how we rearrange the buses, how the buses line up to accommodate, I guess, the city has also affected our performance. Because the way we have changed it was not in the initial design for the bus route. So those are some things that affect our time performance. But we're working with the county, try to analyze every route to make sure that we're running as efficiency and as the best routing that we can, and make sure we cover all the needed areas. But the consultant is going to, I guess, come up with some ideas that we can improve the on-time performance, and we're looking forward to that. Questions on on-time performance?
Thank you. Ms. Mood, please.
I know y'all have missed me asking all this question. On the on-time performance, I know we have a clear standard about what's required for that, and we keep struggling to meet it. But I think it would be helpful if we could see the display of how much off schedule is the arrivals. You know, it matters a lot to riders if the bus is maybe 5 minutes late. that's real different from if it's 20 minutes late.
Mhm.
But on this measure, both of those are not meeting the standard. And I don't mean doing it every time maybe, but just to give us an idea of what that range looks like would be.
Okay, so, the contract range, if I'm not mistaken, is 85% on time. But we also put in our report the routes that on the 5 top performing routes and the 5 worst performing routes. Now, we can also include the report that we pulled from, our software and our presentation too, if that would help, then that would break it down and you can see each and every route, if it's running early or if it's running late. And that just will be more information going forward if you'd like something.
Does it tell you how late?
It will tell you what route it is, and say that it's either running 14 minutes early or 20
Yes.
minutes late, and that's put in time, so it
Yeah,
doesn't have
yeah.
it. For that.
My problem is, if we're posting, wasn't that supposed to eliminate all this gap and lateness between one route to another?
If we say that in
The
the
post thing that we're supposed to be using at Common Central, but all the buses get there at a certain time and then leave. Have we moved away from that process?
no, sir. So what I'm referring to in that instance is that the way the buses initially lined up, we had to make some changes because we had one customer complain that he didn't want the buses lined up here. So these buses had to be moved and rearranged, and if they sit somewhere, so they come and drop off and then they move and have to sit somewhere. That's gonna affect on time performance because it's in the system that, hey, either you're leaving early when you shouldn't be leaving this spot. We had to move some buses across the street to make some more accommodations because another customer downtown complained. So those are the type of things. It's not set up the way it initially was when the bus route was made. So yes, that would greatly affect your impact. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anything else from the body? Yes.
I just wanted to confirm that we do want for patients to see the reports that show, I believe it's a 2-minute difference for 20 minutes. And then I guess my other thought would be if some of these changes are permanent, does it mean we need to change?
That would be highly recommended, and that is what we consult is gonna discuss with how we can change the time. If the on time fall back within state.
Sorry, we didn't hear you.
Oh.
For the minute,
That's it.
for the minute.
Okay, anything else, Ms. Herbert?
Any other questions on OEP?
Okay. I don't see anybody who's making eye contact, so I think we're good there. Did you want to speak, Mr. Runthake?
No.
Okay, cool. So we can move on to 6B, our Lucius and River update. Mr. Pearl?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are continuing to work with Terracon to determine what the seepage issue is. They have installed 2 additional testing, they call them piezometers. There where most of the water seepage is occurring. Need a microphone?
Oh, sorry. Yes, have mine.
Where the water seepage is occurring, and then that was installed last Thursday. They are going to do test results tomorrow. So we'll have some results early next week. And then we'll go from there, what we need to do. And we continuously continue to walk the property and make observations as well.
Questions?
Thank you.
On the board? Thank you. All right, hearing and seeing none. That will move us forward to 6C, our bus shelters and amenities. Ms. Bowers. Oh, sorry.
So effective, well, up until last month, you were receiving. Okay. All right. So up until last month, we were receiving monthly reports from Davis and Floyd Engineering Company regarding the bus stop amenities projects, which involves the installation and removal of bus stops and shelters. So Davis and Floyd and AOS sent us an email stating that they were ending their contracts with us for services. And because of that, we do have some projects out there that are pending, but not urgent. Now, luckily, the subcontractor for AOS, so AOS is the company that was actually doing the work. They were actually doing the physical installation and removal of the shelters and benches. So luckily, their subcontractor that was doing all the work contacted us and basically said, well, hey, we were doing the work anyway. Can we continue doing that? So our procurement department got their necessary documents to onboard them. They are DVE certified and DOT certified. So they have been doing like repairs for us. So the shelter that was on 2 Notch at Wendover, they repaired that shelter. There was one on Ghana's Ferry Road at Patterson, which is the Walmart location. They repaired that one as well. So they will continue to do any repairs that we have. And they can also like remove shelters and do the installations. The only piece that we would be missing is the engineering part. The engineering company goes out and do the legwork to prepare for the installation. We don't have anything that's major now that needs to be done as far as that. We're working on the existing list that's in place. We do have some that was completed as far as the engineering piece. We're just waiting on some documents to be signed. And one particular location we reported was the installation of a new shelter on Atlas Road across from the new apartment complex at this senior apartment. So that shelter and bench will be removed from Broad River Road at Rush's to the apartment complex. All the paperwork has been signed off on that. Now it's on DOT's desk to do the signature. Once they sign it, then we can get R&G construction company to do the installation. We got RATP Dev staff to go out and to remove the bench from brushes and bring it back here to put in our inventory. So R&G Construction, which is the subcontractor for AOS, they will also do an inventory for us. So we'll know what we have in inventory and what we need going forward to do like new projects. So that's what we're dealing with now. I'm going to be reporting this out on an as needed basis in the board meeting every month or whenever it's necessary, because we won't have a lot of projects going on in the next few months. But we want to make you aware of what was going on with AOS and Davis and Floyd. And Davis and Floyd did say that if we needed them for anything, that they would be glad to, do what's needed. But they did send us an official email stating that their contract ended on September 30th.
Thank you. Questions?
North Main by Columbia College. Did we take the bench out of that shelter?
North Main.
It's right before you get to the shelter.
Yes.
We did.
We took that one because there was someone basically living at that shelter.
That's what I thought. Because every time I passed it,
yeah,
it was a hangout.
Yeah.
Right.
We removed that one, and we also, that's why we removing the one on Broad River at Rush's, because they were just living at that one and they were trashing it up really bad.
Sleep has a question.
Thank you. Yes, I kind of heard it over there. So
What did she say?
Well, she said, leave them.
Oh, we don't have any projects on Route 12 for bus stop amenities right now.
okay. Great. Thank you, Ms. Lee. Yes.
We see employee. So are we gonna put out just another RFP for an on-call
Yes,
engineering design service?
yes. And Davis and Floyd did say that they could still do work for us on an as-needed basis, but yeah, but we still, yeah, we're gonna look into that.
Yes, Ms. Moon.
And I would think that another piece that the negotiation on right of ways. So is that where would that fall?
That's why we would have to get someone to do that. Yeah, but on the existing list that we have that they were working on, a lot of that's been done already. Most of the projects, I think we're waiting on like shelters, which we've got to order for more shelters. So, yeah, most of the paperwork has been done and signed off on.
Yes, Mr. Smith.
Okay. You said existing. Let's say 6 years ago, the shelters in place, all that. So
Yeah.
where are we in this? In that, so I kind of hear two things. The finishing out that work project, to get shelters in place. Then there's also the maintenance of the shelters. That's two different. I think that here may not need the engineering very often. It's just maintenance.
Right.
But if we're installing, you need a robust contractor or engineering in place. How much more do we have? That's I think where you're calling with this. Do you have a sense? Are we 80% there? Or are we?
I would say about 85% there. On that list, there were several that Davis and Floyd was trying to contact the landowners for like the last 3 years. And we told them, just take them off the list. If you hadn't contacted them yet in 3 years, then apparently they don't want the amenities. So there's a few on there that they were contacted like 3 years ago and still can't get anyone. So they'll eventually come off the list.
Place. If we don't have it, because the list was put down, can it be ad hoc? That's my question.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Excellent question from the treasurer. Any other questions or comments? Okay, great, thank you. That brings us to item 7, motions period. I have not been made, well, I guess I have an executive committee update, so we'll do that then. I haven't been made any aware of any motions for the motions period. Okay, that will bring us to item 8, progress report. So I will do the chair report and executive committee update. The executive committee did meet, and we met regarding performance review for the director. And there was a motion that the executive committee approved to amend the contract with our current provider, who helped us with our executive search last year. And so that contract does allow for an amendment. I guess what else should I say? Do you want to say what the motion was? I don't know. The executive committee approved an amendment to the contract with Transpo to provide services for executive performance appraisal review. You can share those amendment documents. I think they got circulated to everyone, right? Those documents, the amendment for Transpo, they got circulated to the entire board.
No, just the.
Okay. Okay. But we probably need to go ahead and vote on that. The full board probably needs to go ahead and vote to accept the executive committee's recommendation that we approve that amendment. Yes, they should see it. Everyone should see it before they vote on it. Maybe, I guess we will need to address that in our executive session.
Yeah, I can
Period. We can send that around and then we can address that in executive session. Great. So that is all the that I have for a chair's report. Committee chairs update. We did not have committee meetings in October. But I will just open the floor if there are any committee chairs who do want to speak. Okay, great. And then we do have the executive staff updates, our executive director and CEO report. Mr. Pearl.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Under the report for the executive director, participated in the APTA CDL discussion questionnaire. They had a questionnaire go out about CDL requirements, the current CDL requirements, and how that's impacting transit systems. So I participated in that discussion. It was about a 45-minute discussion with them. Attended the triennial review follow-up meeting. We recently went through a triennial review. A triennial review is completed every 3 years, and it is through the Federal Transit Administration. They contract that work out, and that was completed last month. And we had one finding. Typically, there are between 8 and 10 to 12 findings for transit systems. And our one finding is an ADA concern, not necessarily that we're doing anything wrong. It was just a concern. And that was in regards to our late night service or after hours service. So we're addressing that and getting that taken care of. That's currently under review by the Federal Transit Administration. And then once they make that determination, then we'll get that feedback from them. But it's quite impressive to get one finding for a triennial review. So that goes to the comment staff, that goes to our ATP staff for completing their work, doing what they need to do every day. Because if it doesn't show, then they typically, the way that a triennial review is described, it is a mile long and an inch deep. And then once they see something that's off, then they go a mile deep into what the issue is. So it's an accomplishment. Everywhere that I've been, we have triennial reviews like this. So it is quite an accomplishment. So kudos.
So everywhere you've been, have you gotten good grades like you did?
I have had 0, 1, and now 1 again.
Does this help us with like federal grants, having that good report?
It does put us in good standing. If we had multiple issues, then our grant funding potentially could have some issues as well. So having an excellent triennial review it looks very good on the organization as a whole.
We appreciate that. Everything you did with staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also as a panelist for the Chamber Breakfast Briefing Panel on the transportation penny. I appreciate everybody that attended for support and the positive comments after that breakfast briefing. Also attended as part of the task board members. We met with SEDOT representatives, Josh Powell and Jen Necker, to discuss public transit in South Carolina and what direction that we're going in. For operations, and Ms. Bowers, continuing to monitor bus stops and shelters as she discussed, and always preparing and presenting to the Transportation Penny Advisory Committee. And then also appreciate the attendance. She participated with a meet and greet with me and at the St. Andrews Library on Broad River, and that went very well. As far as the meet and greets, we are getting more attendance at the meet and greets, and they are going very well, and hearing a lot of positive comments back from those as well, being out in the community and talking. As you noticed, we do have some new AV equipment that has been upgraded. It's been a number of years, well over 10 years since the system has been upgraded. They had to go in and do a lot of work on the back end with the software, and then new equipment as well. So we're just to update the board on what we've been doing. And that concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And I hope those of you on Zoom can hear everything well, better than before. That will bring us to our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Andrews.
Good morning, everyone. My report is on page 87. It highlights everything glorious for accounting, IT, and HR admin. A few things that's not listed here because we did get just one fine, and Reese gonna find a way to get us all the way to point. Or something similar, or a luau party. We'll take you one.
All right.
And just a quick reminder that you should have gotten an audit questionnaire from my auditor. If you have not completed it, in the back, please do so at your earliest convenience. And that is the end of the report.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I would like to also make note to the board. Vince Jackson is here. He's our part-time planner. He's been in the public transit industry for 40 years and has been from large transit systems to medium to large, just across the board, across the country, brings a wealth of experience to us and has been doing a phenomenal job for us so far.
Great. Thank you. It's nice to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I'm off my game. Okay. The Civil Rights Officer, Dr. Prince.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
On pages 88 through 89, is information, 88 through 93 is information regarding reports for compliance and BDE reporting. That was included in the board packet. On pages 88 to 89, just staff report and their monthly activities, and I won't go through that in interest of time. And want to share on pages 90 to 91, just a quick snapshot of the vendors that the comment paid that have BDE goals. And as of September 30th, we had paid approximately $88.3 million to vendors. And of this amount, BDEs received $21.5 million, which equates to 24.4%. And on pages 92 to 93 is information related to our contractor and their BDE utilization. And this goes back to the beginning of the contract years ago. So as of September 30th, already they have expended $17.2 million with the BDE firm, representing 21.2% of their 20.0% BDE goal. So they're still on track to meet the goal. We appreciate that work they're doing. This is the BDE report and compliance.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Great. Thank you so much. Okay. That ends our executive staff updates, and we do have one item for executive session, as mentioned before. Oh, I'm sorry. Miss Final Read, I had already put a check mark. That brings us to D, our public information officer, Miss Pamela Final Read. I would never.
Madam Chair, pages 94, 102, and I want to bring your attention, especially to the community events that we're doing. We're actually piggybacking on to the county's town hall meeting, as well as meeting that Director Pearl just spoke about. Upcoming, we have one on the 24th and at 6 a.m. at the Richland County Main Library, and one on the 29th, which will be virtual. 6 p.m. Yes. I'm sorry, 6 p.m. On the 29th. At the same time at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Also, we'll be answering questions down at Summit Central next week. During some of the busier times of the day, a couple mornings we'll be out there. And then we have some action that will be out there with the table, just answering questions about what the county is doing, questions about the penny, without advocating.
Right.
Okay, yes.
Educating. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, lots of fall events. Yes. Herbert.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to add, I wanted to commend Mr. Pearl and Pam. I attended one of the meet and greets at North Main Library. And I thought that the discussion was good. Mr. Pearl is a lot more diplomatic than I am. And so that is a good thing. But it was good to kind of hear some of the questions and the concerns from the folks directly. So I thought it was a good job, and it had really good attendance as far as I thought.
Okay, now that really brings us to item 9, our executive session, which we do have one item for, which is a contractual matter. Is there a motion to go into executive session? Thank you. Moved and seconded. I will take the vote to go to executive session.
Yes.
Red?
Yes.
Ms. Lee? Yeah. Ms. Herbert? Yes. Representative Howard?
Yes.
Dr. Lawrence? Ms. Smith? Ms. Gracio?
Yes.
Dr. Bank?
Yes.
Mr. Walker? Motion carried.
Thank you all. We are now in executive session. Thank you for your time. Dr. Prince, do you want to stay since, yes. Yeah, are you okay to stay? Okay. We were in executive session to discuss a contractual matter. No action was taken. Is there a motion to come out of executive session? Moved and seconded. We'll take the vote to come out of executive session.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Ms. Gleason? Yes. Ms. Herbert?
Yes.
Representative Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Unley?
Yes.
Walker? Ms. Gracio?
Yes.
Perkins? Smith?
Yes.
Barnwell?
Yes.
Carried.
Thank you. Is there a motion regarding the item we discussed in executive session?
That be directed by Transpro and the amount proposed.
Thank you.
So
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, we will take the vote.
Ms. Barnwell?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
yes.
Mr. Perkins? Ms. Lee?
Yeah.
Ms. Herbert?
Yes.
Representative Howard?
Yes.
Dr. Lawrence? Mr. Smith? Ms. Gracio?
Yes.
Mr. Unbank?
Yes.
Mr. Walker? Motion carries.
Thank you. And I do have one announcement regarding our next meeting. So as per our usual pattern, in November, we will just have committee meetings, and we will have one, just the full board meeting on Wednesday, December the 11th. And that will be our end of the year board meeting, and I hope everyone can come in person. That brings us to item 10, adjournment. Is there a motion? Good. Second? Second? Everybody in favor? Great. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
These movies are so much easier.
It's easy.